guys, you're watching Life in the Smokies with Laura, and I'm Laura, your host. And today we have Carey Jones on our show again. Thank you so much for being here, Carey.
Good to see you, Laura.
Good to see you too, Carey. Thank you for being here.
You bet.
So you are a retired naturalist, park ranger, right?
That's right.
Okay, all right.
An old mossy back ranger, that's what they call us, you know.
Okay, I gotcha. It's so great to have you back on the show. You're a pleasure to have on the show.
Thanks.
So now, what are you going to talk to us about today? So what are we talking about?
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
What do you like best about the springtime?
Oh, the springtime. Oh my goodness. That's probably my most favorite time of the year, I guess. The flowers are blooming again. The trees are filling out again. The smells, the birds, the wildlife coming out. It's just kind of like, I don't know. And then you think about Easter, and I don't know. It's just kind of like the world gets out of its hibernation from the winter, and it just kind of breathes again, and it's an amazing time of the year.
Oh, I couldn't say any better.
Oh my
Not
goodness.
a bit. Perfect what you just said.
Oh, thanks.
Because the Smokies brings all of that, everything you said, everything. It's not so much a rebirth, but I think you said it's a regrowth.
Yeah.
Things are dormant from the wintertime. They're not dead. We don't, but they're dormant. The leaves are off the trees for most part.
Yeah.
This is an evergreen. And you've got all the flower bulbs in the ground that, well, you don't see them in the wintertime because the above ground shoots are gone. But they're there. They're alive. They're just waiting for the sunlight to be right,
Yeah.
for the temperature to get right, number of hours of day, moisture to get right. You get a couple of warm days, even this time of year now, in the late winter, a couple of warm days in a row, and you'll start seeing signs of spring coming on. Little shoots start coming out of the leaves. Go look at a tree in your yard. Look at the leaf buds start coming out, or maybe the flower buds will
Yeah.
They'll start getting the red maples in your yard. They'll start getting a little bit redder on the end, and a little bit larger, little bit by little bit.
Yeah.
Spring's coming.
Yeah.
Spring's coming.
Yeah.
And no better place than the Smokies. 500,000 acres.
Oh.
You drive up the road, one of the overlooks, look down the valley, and you've got all, as you mentioned, the greens, the different shades of green. And we think about fall being colorful, but even in the spring, especially the early spring, when the leaves just start coming out, there's so many different shades of green.
Yeah.
It's not all one color. And it's
No.
just beautiful. And then the little flowers I mentioned. You've got your reds over. You got whites from the serviceberry maybe, or yellows from your bushes around your yard. You got forsythia and other bushes like that. But then you've got the yellow of the buckeye, the yellow buckeye. It has a little yellow in the end. Or the serviceberry has a little purple. So all those colors are out there in the early springtime. So it's a beautiful, colorful time. And you mentioned, I love it, the way you said that, the smells. It just smells better, doesn't it?
It does.
Smells like something growing,
It does.
and that's it. Things are coming up.
It smells like life.
Yes, new life,
Yeah.
regrowth, and it's such a tie-in when you're a Christian like I am, and you look forward to Easter.
Yeah.
And the essence of regrowth and rebirth is at Easter time, the resurrection. We get
Exactly.
excited about that, and no better time to be walking in the woods than doing that Easter time and see all these things happening all around you. Smokies is a great place to do it. Lots of trails,
Yeah.
short trails. You can walk 5 minutes from your car. You don't have to go walk 10 miles to see these things. You can see them in your yard. It's just in the Smokies. You don't have you don't have houses around so much. You've got native plants. You don't have all these plants people put in the yards, which are fine, but the native plants of the Smokies, they're going to come back year after year after year. You know daffodils?
I do.
Go ahead, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, Carey, it reminds me, you talking about that, I'm just thinking, just walking out, and, it just painted a picture in my mind, walking out into these beautiful, brand new flowers and smells, and it just, I don't know, it's just such a beautiful time of the year. It
to
just
get
makes
you going, doesn't it?
does.
Yeah.
It really does.
You said it right. These are new flowers.
Yeah.
They haven't bloomed before. Now the plant's there. It's been there and above. Most of them are above. They're
Yeah.
perennials. They come back year after year. Most plants. Of course, the trees come back year after.
Yeah.
So the trees there. But these flowers that open up, that's the first time that flower has seen the light. Think
Yeah.
about that. First time that flower has seen the light. First time it's attracted an insect to it.
Yeah.
That's why plants have flowers, to attract insects and other pollinators, or to
Yeah.
be pollinated. Everything about a plant, everything about a flower has to do with getting itself pollinated. That's the purpose of a flower.
Right.
But also, I tell people on walks all the time, that flower gives me inspiration.
Exactly.
So maybe botanically that's not the reason for the flower, but I believe it was created to give me an inspiration.
Keep
I really
growing.
believe. I believe
Keep
that.
growing every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mentioned daffodils. You know daffodils.
I love daffodils.
Have any in your yard?
I do not,
Okay.
actually. No,
Well,
I do not.
In the Smokies, if you look for daffodils, most people know what it looks like, beautiful yellow flower. If you see daffodils in the park, somebody lived there
Yeah.
because they were planted by somebody. So when you see a group of daffodils, get out and look around. Think about, maybe you'll find a pile of rock where chimney was,
Yeah.
a rock wall where they had a wall around their garden,
Yeah.
maybe a walled up spring house. Somebody lived nearby, otherwise there wouldn't be any daffodils there. So anytime you're riding around, walking around, if you see daffodils, somebody lived nearby. Or could be a cemetery nearby, and they plant the flowers around cemeteries often. So, but it has to do with people being right there so those daffodils could be planted. And other flowers too, but especially the daffodils, because they come up usually late February. There was a maintenance guy at the park. He always went out and tried to find the first daffodil of the year. And he would come back and report to headquarters. I found the first daffodil. It was always sometime in February, sometimes early February, sometimes late. He would report. He was proud to report, I found the first daffodil.
That is too cool.
And often the daffodils, because of that time of year, they'd be covered in snow a week or two later.
Right, right.
Still makes them beautiful.
Yeah.
So early springtime is just a wonderful time. Every season has its rewards, but early spring, it just gets you going like you have said
yeah,
so well.
it just seems so pure to, I mean, like you mentioned, you know, everybody has like the new growth in their yard. Like I was just, you know, noticing the other day, and I'm just thinking, gosh, my yard looks, you know, the grass looks so dead. Everything looks so dead. And that's the thing about winter, you know, I love to be outside. I'm always outside during the spring, during the summer. And, you know, we all have that outside, but until you actually get into the Smokies, you actually really feel like it's real. I mean, because you get out there and it's so, you get away from all of everything. I mean, it's nothing but the wilderness, nothing but the plants, nothing but the mountains, nothing but the trees. And it's just, I love it because there's nothing else to distract you. I mean, it's all God's creation and it's all what he has laid there. And it's amazing to see that and to see it to go away and then to come back and then to go away and then to come back. I just think that's so cool.
Yes.
And I love to plant my own gardens as well.
Right.
And so I just have this big fascination, and that's just kind of started within the past few years. My mom's always done it, but I kind of started it myself, and I just have this big, I love to be able to grow my own produce. And
It tastes better, doesn't it?
it really does. And to watch it,
Right.
to just watch the way that it grows, it's amazing. And flowers. It's just, I just think that's so cool to watch that. And, you know, I hope that I can express that, you know, to my kids. I hope I can
It's
teach
important to
them
pass that on. And the park is special. You don't have billboards and neon lights
Right.
and a lot of distractions. It's
Right.
just, it is what it is. It's a wilderness.
Yeah.
It's managed as a wilderness. How to protect it that way so you can enjoy it. And there's so many species of flowers. You mentioned flowers. There's almost 1,500 different kind of plants that flower in the park. Can you imagine?
What?
1,500, that's correct.
I did not know that.
It's a botanist's paradise. People come from all over the world to look at the different species of plants that flower.
Wow.
Now, not all flower at the same time, of course, but in the
Right.
springtime, along about mid-April, you can pick the time. That's about when the greatest variety of flowers are in bloom. And that will be right around, at least 600 species blooming at one time.
wow.
Now,
That's incredible.
Some of those are fairly rare. You won't be able. It'd be hard to go out and find all 600 unless
Yeah.
you were really a good botanist and had time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just a great, great variety of flowers, and so many of them. And I'm talking about flowers of all kinds. On trees, all trees flower. You might not have thought about this. All trees flower unless it's a conifer, a cone-bearing tree. But all the other trees, what we call hardwood trees, trees that lose their leaves, they put out flowers. It's just that many of them aren't showy.
Right.
Right, you know that.
Yeah.
The showy ones, like the eastern redbud that comes out early spring, beautiful purple. And then the red maple I mentioned.
Yeah.
And of course the magnolias, the showy
love
things.
magnolias.
And the flame azaleas that come later, and the rhododendron, which comes much later.
My mama
Beautiful.
loves those.
But you probably never went to find an oak flower in bloom, did you, Laura?
I have not, no.
But they bloom.
Really?
They're not very beautiful to look at unless you get a hand lens and look real close, and then they are beautiful.
Oh.
It depends on how you look sometimes.
Yeah.
But every tree flowers. And so maybe this year, I'm going to challenge you.
Okay.
Go look for those trees you hadn't looked at before. Look for a tree and its flower and see if you can discover some new things. How about that?
I will totally do that. I would love to do that. In fact, since we had you on the show last, it really inspired me to go on more trails. And I love going on trails. I love to hike. I just don't get out much because I'm not really that informed about the trails. And so I'm definitely going to do that in the spring.
Good.
And in the summer, I'm going to do that because I love to do it. And I just don't take the time, honestly. I don't take the time because I'm just so busy. And so I'm going to do that. And so I'm going to look for the flowers. But I'm going to do all that. But anyways, it was so great to have you on the show again, Carey. Thank you so much.
You bet. I tell you what, if you need somebody to go with you and your friends, maybe show you some things,
Yeah, I would love that.
we might have some fun doing that.
Yeah,
Huh?
I would love that. I would love that.
You bet.
We're all out of time, guys, but thank you so much for tuning in to Life in the Smokies with Laura on the Mountain Fun Life Network. And remember, guys, climb a mountain and have fun in life.
Oh, hey! I was just getting caught up on the latest trends and news of the world. Did you know 80% of content that you watch is online or on your mobile device? Did you know a great new channel that's out right now is called Mountain Fun Life? And you can watch it right on your mobile device, or coming soon to Roku. Make sure to check out Mountain Fun Life on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the website, mountainfunlife.com. Hello, did you know that most of the stuff shot on Mountain Fun Life is shot right here in this very studio? And maybe you've wanted your own show before. I mean, how cool would it be to be in a studio like this one with your very own show? Just go to mountainfunlife.com for more information, and you can submit to have your own show, and you can be right here.